My family dismissed my narcissistic sister's attempt to kill me as a joke. Everyone can now see how insane she is. Alright, some background. Out of 5 children, I am the second youngest. My older siblings consist of 1 older sister, X, and 2 brothers, who will be referred to as such in this essay. I'm 5 years older than X. We never truly had that sisterly closeness because of it. Would anticipate having most sisters. She always felt that I was a burden to her growing up, and she would get irritated if I choose the family movie or really anything at all. I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this already, but the reason is that she struggled with control issues starting at age 9. I'm 18 years old and going to be 19 soon, woohoo. This year, an ex-partner turned 24. Earlier in June of this year, during a family beach date, her boyfriend Y proposed to her. He had put it up before my family came, one of those proposals with the huge white letters and rose petals. She said yes with excitement, and my parents were overjoyed too, so I don't think she realized what was going on. This is the dramatic part. She has gone full bridezilla since the proposed. I'm involved in all the drama because X made me a bridesmaid at my mother's request. These are the requirements as of right now, my darling sister. Each bridesmaid must pay for a $300 dress and blush or pink shoes, hair, and cosmetics. Every bridesmaid, including A, is required to attend every bachelorette and wedding function. A bachelorette spa day costs $800 per person. The weekend-long bachelorette getaway to Toronto, where she will stay at the Fairmont Hotel, one pause and dollars reservations only at Hotel C. The appointments for the dresses, even if they are only for the bride, the $300 dress plus a proxy, the $300 changes, etc., all paid for by the individuals themselves. D. They have to be there for everything related to the wedding cake, venue, food, etc. They each have to pay $25 for the cake and food tasting. To book a place, guests and the bridal groom party must pay $150. Additionally, gifts must come in the form of cash, a check, or something from the registry. I figure if people are interested, I could update periodically on what happens. My mom says it's bride anxiety. I say it's just my sister trying to control everything because she wants a December wedding on a ski hill in black. She has a spreadsheet of what everyone is gifting, and she has said she will return items that aren't from her registry or match her theme. Thank you for reading the edit. I apologize for leaving out the controlling bits. All bridesmaids must schedule 6 weekly hair and skin appointments to guarantee that our hair and skin are picture perfect. Also, it's out of pocket. 2. Our garments will hide up any tattoos that people may have. They extend to the wrists, ankles, and neck. The bride desires to be the only one to wear a sleeveless outfit that reveals her vibrant haircut and tattoos. We must either wear an expensive wig or get our hair colored to its natural color. 3. There is just a fairly decent variety of sizes available for most dresses -0 to 10, but those who don't fit are expected to try to reduce weight. My sister is calling already, and I wear a size 12. We need to remind the guests that they need to pay a $150 deposit to save their spot, and that if we don't get it, they don't come. We also need them to confirm what they'll purchase from the registry or the amount they'll give at it. You guys are making me realize that my family isn't. She sent me a book on the keto diet through Amazon. No vendors are allowed to communicate directly with the bride or groom. It has to go through us first. She created a Gmail account with the last name Wedding, which we all have access to. We shouldn't ask her if anything is okay. I'd want to express my gratitude to the individual who sent me a private message on obtaining my birth certificate and removing my mother from my bank account. After speaking with the bank personnel, I believe I will take such action. I emailed my mother, asking if we could talk about it when her ex was out having dinner with her fiancé while I was at work. I want to show my parents this post so they can see where I'm coming from. Edit 3, since many of you are correct, I'm going to step away from this alt for a while. This is not typical. As a family, our relationship is not typical. For those of you who are unaware, I made a call to my aunt while I was at work. We had a conversation regarding her opinion of my mom, which is that she is my godmother. She is pushing me to discuss everything with my parents' favoritism, the wedding, and everything else. Since childhood, and she's also ready to go should anything go wrong with SHD. I have a few hours left in my work shift. After that, before my dad and I speak, I'll head home and quickly pack a bag of items for my aunt to take. Comments that are pertinent. All in all, she will have to acknowledge that money controls many people's life and that, should she choose not to return to Earth, people will be prevented from taking part in the same activities as you. I keep trying to tell her that, but she refuses to hear me. Her fiancé is a tech guy who makes over $120,000 a year, while she works as an accountant and makes $100,000. She can therefore easily afford this. Inform your mother and sister that you won't take part until all of your expenses are covered. When your sister is acting like a wild child, your mother shouldn't try to maintain harmony. I'm hoping her fiancé withdraws. He refuses to. He adores the spiciness she has. They work well together though because he's a really composed man. The only person who can soothe her is him. What is his family's opinion about the entrance charge to his wedding? That's typical with his family. It's not usual in Italian families despite what they say. I recently learned this. This is ridiculous. I concur with you entirely. My issue is that I just can't afford it without incurring further debt from my college loans. Currently, student loan interest rates are 26%. Thus, I'm afraid of having debt. Inform your mother. You don't have the kind of money that goes into helping a sister get married. Inform sis. She's allowed to invite you to events other than the wedding party. It's likely that you'll take the initiative. 12 bridesmaids and 13 bridesmaids. Wait, 1 mile, and that's to match her fiancé's fraternity class. In his class, he formed brotherhoods with 13 others. It may or may not imply anything, but it's unique. That means 2 of the guys would have to walk together if I dropped out. Permit them. I should. Significant observation from the original poster. I have had a conversation with her. I should save money. She argues since I'm her sister. Nearly $100,000 is what parents are spending for the wedding. Thus, they are unable to offer me the $2,000 I need for expenditures. My tuition for the university I'm attending in the autumn is $17,000. Unusual parenting decisions, 100K here for a wedding. However, let kids cover their own tuition. I would tell my parents I don't want a $100,000 wedding and ask them to cover my education expenses, among other things, when I go to college, comparable to the children. Furthermore, what's extra $2,000 if they can afford to pay $100,000? Our obligation to pay tuition has always existed. Parents put money aside for each child's honeymoon or wedding. Update, Section 1. After a week. First of all, I wanted to express my regret for the delay in getting this done. That evening, my parents had intended to have a conversation, but my mother informed me that she wasn't feeling well and had chosen to go to bed early around 6 p.m. and that sensation persisted for some time. After that, we became preoccupied with getting my sister settled into her fiance's flat. My parents kind of forgot we had a discussion and ignored it. We eventually had the talk 2 days ago, and I wanted time to process the information and just respond to what was said. It appears that my dad was unaware of the entire tale. He was aware that he was going to have to cover part of the wedding or honeymoon and my sister's dress costs. This is because, according to what my parents informed me, my dad was able to verify through bank records that my parents had been opening $25,000 bank accounts for my siblings and me. The rule was that once we turned 19 and started post-secondary education, we could utilize these funds for anything. We could have used the money. My dad and I had a chat that resulted in a minor explosion when he was about to give the money over to me. I had just turned 19 at the time. However, I must now provide some background information that I was provided. My sister and my mother reportedly spoke shortly after she got engaged about how she thought the youngster was always left out. It's a line she's used before. Therefore, I do think my mother was guilt tripping and fell for it. After a lengthy discussion, my mother decided she could take money out of each kid's account to help pay for my sister's wedding. In case you're curious, both of my elder brothers serve in the armed forces. They reside on base and are not yet married. They never spend their $25K, as in Canada, the army covers all of your living expenses, education, and other costs. I mean, my mother had $50,000. That would have been $100K if my sisters and my $25K were added together. Mom reasoned that since I had saved up $17,000, she could easily give me $15,000 when I needed it for a house or car payment, or nuptial blah. Sister took this action because, again, she is an expert manipulator. I'm grateful to the amazing Redditors who directed me to several subreddits about narcissism and support, as well as those who forwarded articles on it and a potential narcissist to me. Some of my mom's physical and mental health issues were turned against her. My mother had severe postpartum depression when I was born, which forced her to spend 4 months out of a treatment center. Dad, me, my sister, and my 2 brothers are leaving. At that time, I was only a few months old, and my 2 elder brothers were 7 and 9 years old. For the record, sister was 5 or barely under 5, not interested in doing maths. At an age where attention is crucial, my sister received little to no attention since my brothers were problems. My dad had a full plate, and a live-in nanny took care of all the household chores. That, in my opinion, is what made her darker aspects surface. The nanny assisted sister with basic needs like food, water, bathing clothes, and light play, but she wasn't mom's replacement. My sister held a deep resentment towards me rather than against mom when mom returned. Mom left because of me, which resulted in her attempting to suffocate me with a cushion. We all laughed at the humorous story mom told us about how she got caught in time. That turns out to be a coping strategy. My sister has been manipulating people to obtain what she wants since I was a young child, and she did the same for the wedding. Mom took pity on her little dove and made the decision to grant her every wish. Growing up, I frequently heard statements like, "I want this and you always give me XYZ," then had a breakdown while my sister grew older. Girls now go on trips instead of tiny gifts and candies. That's why my dad and I became really close. My best friend is him, my sibling, and from the age of 12 to 14, I was in a respectable relationship. However, things altered once more with my mother's pregnancy with my younger sister. Ha ha ha, it was an accident. And she turned her anger and vitriol towards me once more. Even though I realize it doesn't justify a lot of things, I thought it would be crucial to tell you the entire tale. Update Section 2. Now that you have all the background details, let me tell you what happened. I begged my parents to finally have the talk with me the day after my sister moved out. Now that mom was feeling better, we took a seat and chatted. I expressed to them my feelings, the financial burden it would have on me, the unfairness of it, etc. Dad, though, lost it. He was unaware of the $100,000, the activities of the sisters, etc. Even though they had a group chat and I had screenshots of it, he didn't like that mom used it a lot. Your father and I agree. We resolved the wedding matter. Dad is signing the $25,000 for me issue early, so I'm not required to go. Then my parents requested me to spend some time in my room so they could discuss. The budget dispute was resolved by them alone. I showed them this post when Dad inquired why I hadn't felt comfortable talking to them sooner. My father lost it. He called my sister right away, telling her to come over as soon as possible because he had to talk to her and he would not take no for an answer. She was with her fiancé and his parents, so she said she will be here in 4 hours. Dad pressed and she blocked him and hung up. Dad instructed me to return to my room and leave my phone there so they could review the post and the comments. I'm not exactly sure what transpired, but afterward my mother came to talk to me. She then informed me of PPD and other things. I was unaware of it before. We worked through our problems and I concluded by asking my sister to see a therapist. Mom said she would try, but she couldn't force it because she was convinced that the 4 months of leave was the reason for her problems. I promised her I would go and see with her and maybe LC with mom if her sister didn't go. Dad then chimed in telling me that I would receive my money back and that I didn't have to attend the wedding if I didn't want to. She can use that to pay for her grandson's wedding because her sister is charging $150 per attendee. It appears that soon-to-be Bill and his family aren't paying for SHD, therefore they now have to, or his sister won't be able to hold her wedding on a ski hill. You were correct about the $150 cost, by the way. Her sister was the one who made everything up and told her mother it was a typical Italian custom. Sister Mill was surprised that her sister had said that when we spoke with her after she dropped her off, its sister doesn't drive. It seems like a money dance, but there's no $150 to pay. Let's go on to what transpired after my sister returned. 5 hours later, she arrived, and in Mill's presence she was as sweet as pie. Oh Lord, the gates of hell broke when Mill went. She insisted that Dad take her back and asked him to explain why he had interrupted the quiet evening. Dad told her to sit down and stated he didn't care. They fought because she refused. After Dad began playing a few pranks involving money or disclosing to Mill her own personality, something her fiancé hasn't seen much of, she finally sat down. I was allowed to return to my room. Her sister was manipulating the situation, threatening to report her to LCNC or to prevent her from seeing potential grandchildren in the future, and there was a lot of back and forth arguing. Mom and Dad refused to budge from their initial $100,000 plan, despite her attempts to persuade them to do so. When my dad yelled that my mom wasn't her punching bag and that her PPD wasn't her fault, the fighting stopped. Go to therapy if she was so upset about it. I was summoned down again after that, and we discussed everything. My dad stood up for me when my sister tried to defend me, claiming I was lazy and overweight, starting with the keto book. When sister began to cry, Mom told Dad to soften up a little. And he did. After we had finally talked about everything, I no longer felt like a punching bag and more like a member of the family. After a while, sister took an Uber out of fear for her life. We're going to hold off on talking about what the family needs moving ahead in order to be healthy until Christmas, when the brothers are back in town. But either we cut her out or we go to treatment. My sister's-in-law's entire budget is still a mystery to my parents. My parents informed them that everyone would have to pitch in to make such a wedding possible. $100,000 for a wedding is ridiculous according to in-laws. Her sister will receive $15,000 for the wedding, essentially $5,000 because the outfit, which costs $10,000, has already been ordered. The remaining $10,000 is being saved for a concrete reward. Her in-laws are also giving generously and offering $15,000. $5,000 to the honeymoon, $10,000 to the wedding. Regarding my education, tomorrow my father and I will visit the bank to settle the cancellation fee for the loan I had to take out. Thankfully, there is not a significant cancellation cost because the loan only becomes operative when I start school. Since my dad acknowledges that I shouldn't have needed to take out the loan in the first place, he is covering the cost. My parents decided that they would cover the expenditures of my first year of study and housing instead of taking from my allowance of $17,000 or $25,000. They will move the entire amount they budgeted for me into a TFSA so that I can use it for retirement. I mean, my sister despises me to no end, and my relationship with my mom is still a little difficult. She accused me of being responsible for everything, said that I had ruined her relationship with her fiancé, and as a result, she had banished me from both the wedding and her life. To be honest, I don't mind. I don't consider it to be the loss of a sister. I see it as the death of a bully. I vowed never to abuse my younger sister that way in front of my parents. Like my father and brothers were for me, I'm going to be the role model she deserves and her guardian. I believe I covered all the necessary ground, but please don't hesitate to ask any more questions if you still have any. I owe a debt of gratitude to the subreddit for teaching me the value of a true family and for imparting communication and boundary skills to me. Enjoy a wonderful life, you beautiful people. Updated pertinent remarks. I wanted to bring up something that seemed to be blown over. Your sister attempted to kill you. That is significant. I hope you spend some time discussing this in therapy. It's very important. It is distressing. Not only that, but it's not acceptable that your parents made a hilarious justification out of it. It's terrible. And I genuinely hope you make your mother confront this. Why she permitted this conduct to occur. Why had she not immediately scheduled her sister's therapy sessions? Your sister should apologize to you, and it's critical that you receive the answers to these inquiries. Additionally, you might want to think about informing her fiancé about the money she requested. He has a right to be aware of what he is getting into. At first, Mom and Dad didn't find the story amusing, saying, oh, it was a joke, was primarily what the sister said. Naturally, when we were older, as my parents never left my older sister and I by ourselves. My older brother was either alongside me or they were in the room. The joke was only made once I was between the ages of 10 and 11 and my sister and I began to get along. Sincerely, I felt it was a joke and I accepted her apology. It wasn't, as I now know. She has detested me from the beginning. Regarding the therapy, I neglected to note that she progressed from 7 to 10. At first, she only saw a doctor once a month from about 4:30 to 6. But they stopped needing appointments because she was able to express exactly what they wanted to hear. My sister's mother sought a second opinion and located the best child psychologist in Alberta, who treated her for 3, almost 4 years, till the end. My dad was fine with this. They said they helped her deal with trauma, etc., and they taught her everything. However, it seems to me that she just mastered the art of telling them what they wanted to hear. Regarding her fiancé, he is aware. I left him a lengthy voicemail and text message and we had a 2-hour phone conversation. Towards the end, he simply waved it off. Looking back, I believe he was aware of it. He also has some unsettling characteristics. Do your parents think that by allowing your sister to continue in this manner for so long, they failed her? It was a family joke that she attempted to suffocate you with a pillow after being neglected. It seems to me that your parents are assigning on her all of their mistakes from when they were equally involved. It certainly seems to have had an impact on me. When she was a toddler, she displayed certain worrying behaviors, such biting, pushing, or intentionally hurting my brothers or other children at the creche. However, I believe that her lack of a mother was what ultimately shattered her. Dad took care of the boys, the nanny mostly took care of her and me, and my aunt took care of her motherly duties. She can't take the position of mom though. The issue is that even if things did improve when I was 12, My sister talked to me about her dislike of me, how I was consuming her time, and other things. I was 14 when she started to hate me again since her mother was carrying a little sister. I am aware that my sister attended counseling from the ages of 7 to 10 because she harbored resentment against her mother and would vent her frustrations on the mother when she intervened to shield a 3 or 6-year-old me. She would also sometimes rage at the dog. Yes, your dad doesn't simply absolve himself of responsibility by claiming that he chose not to raise her because he wants to raise the boys in the same manner that your mother isn't allowed to satisfy all of her demands. You're describing genuinely terrible parenting, which is why your sisters went crazy. I know you like your dad, but from her point of view, I believe they both made her and played a major role in the fact that you were bullied your entire life. They really let you two down by failing to recognize the seriousness of her apology. Even at 5 years old, she continued to get such maltreatment. Pimon, it's not like dad decided to parent the boys exclusively. By that I mean that we drove a single car. The lads participated in lacrosse, football, and hockey. They traveled constantly. Additionally, sister would become agitated if she didn't receive a new toy or device from dad when he took her. Out on father-daughter dates twice a week. These were called pixel checks, and she adored them. Even after she gave them up. At 3, she suddenly became quite possessive of them, and I wanted to play. By the second month, mom was permitted to spend the weekends with us, when she would spend time with her sister doing things like reading stories, watching films, and braiding hair. Honestly, I don't consider that to be neglect. They intervened when she began to exhibit severe symptoms, and because of the pillow incident, I was never, ever by myself with my sister. After taking her to therapy, the physicians declared her to be in good health. Quite simply, I believe she is an expert manipulator. In a different comment, she snatched her fiancé from a different girl she knew, just because she wanted him to demonstrate to you what kind of person she is, and showed no concern about the other female. In the hopes that a kid would outgrow adult behaviors, therapists frequently delay to diagnose BPD until the patient is above the age of 18. BPD sufferers are frequently skilled manipulators who may deceive therapists by disguising their actions, lying about their feelings, and lying about their behaviors in a convincing manner, almost like an actor pretending to be someone else. They can trick those who don't see both sides of an issue because they always have an explanation in their minds for their actions. Alright, SHT, I'm about to take a diversion once more. However, my sister won't visit a doctor unless it's to confirm that she was correct all along. B refused to even give me a Lalaloopsy doll without taking it and setting it on fire. For individuals close to someone who has untreated BPD, traveling to North Carolina appears to be the best option. Don't let it bother you. Without the drama and absurd allegations, your life will be a lot more tranquil. Getting your sister into treatment is also not something to worry about. Only those who are sincere and open to change can benefit from therapy. Frequently, neither is a person with BPD. You ought to research therapy on your own. I did, and reading forums for families going through similar things also tremendously helped. In an effort to maintain normalcy, parents frequently act as facilitators and work to keep the family together. However, having a sibling with a disease is not typical at all. You can start to mend as soon as you realize that this isn't natural. Yes, mom is going to a money-based therapy session on Monday, the guilt trip phenomenon, after she and her father attend marital counseling. I'm beginning individual therapy for a variety of reasons. My siblings, I have no idea what's going on with them because they're hundreds of kilometers away. My sister is also playing house. At the time of the argument, my younger sister wasn't present. We saw to ensure that she and her nursery buddy got to play together. Update. After 3 months. Hello everyone, I apologize for the extended absence and thought I would give you an update. I recently discovered my lost account login. Let's go on to the update. Family therapy is working out great. My 2 brothers were granted leave to return to Canada temporarily. For a while they were both stationed abroad. After this, I think they need to return in order to facilitate the process. My mom and I are closer than ever, and our family is starting to get back on track. I genuinely feel as though my best buddy has returned. To be honest, I have no idea what's going on with my sister. My friend continues to follow her on social media, and all is well. Instead of the intended December 17th date, the wedding was pushed up to November 26th. She recently purchased a home with her fiancé. It's been reported that she is allegedly pregnant. Her fiancé's family is talking SHT about us, and she has cut us all off. We're holding firm though. In other happier news, Ottawa is my new home. I spend 1 month at home for in-person counseling, but I also hold 3 online sessions every month. In addition, I lost a horrible sister, but gained an incredible sister because my oldest brother is getting married. Despite being provinces away, she is incredibly lovely. She orders takeaway for me, texts me every couple of days, and gets me an Uber when I'm down. She is quite charming. Is it okay for me to be her Mo? She inquired. I concurred. She's an only child and her mother passed gone. I will thus have an official new sister by this time next year. I have a boyfriend too, not much more to say about that. He was compelled to enlist in the army as well, and incredibly caring and supportive, I suppose. January marks our 1-month anniversary and I'm excited about it. In any case, Reddit, thank you very much. I wish each and every one of you has a prosperous, healthy, and fruitful life since you are all incredible, lovely, and soulful people. I cherish each and every one of you. Thank you, Cute Quarter 19399 update. Provide a wedding update. Hi to all of you. I'll give the update since a lot of people were curious about what transpired during the wedding yesterday. Not much happened at the ceremony because her husband's family and I were not allowed to attend. But my relatives, friends, and her husband's family filled me in. Even though it was a child-free ceremony, some guests brought their children, including the groom's mother, who looked stunning in an off-white attire. But the reception was when the real drama unfolded. This makes me feel a little sorry for my sister. However, I assume the Mog invited the groom's ex-girlfriend in the hopes that it would cause them to split up. However, it was unsuccessful. She attempted to put herself in the way of my sister's now husband. However, her spouse, for which I applaud him, told her to go. To be honest, it wasn't very dramatic overall. They made it to the altar and are departing either either today or tomorrow for their honeymoon. However, one thing has been established: my sister is unquestionably pregnant. Following the speeches during the wedding, the groom presented his slideshow with an ultrasound image and the baby's last name due in June 2023 on the final slide. I apologize for the lack of an update.